Welcome to the Soapdish. Hi, Luann. How are you?
Hi, Mark. I'm doing great today. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are things in Florida? You said it's raining.
Yeah, it's raining here, and we're some areas south of us and north of us are getting some large hail. They're saying golf size or baseball size hail, but
Oh,
so far so good for our area.
I thought that was only a Minnesota thing, so it actually happens down there too.
So did I. In fact,
Yeah.
in our county, Brevard County, which is just east of Orlando, we normally don't get receive hail, so this is very unusual for them too.
Yeah, I bet. All right, let's get at it. We got a lot to
Yes.
cover.
Oh,
It's been a couple weeks since you and I have podcasted, so there's been a lot
yes.
of activity on the young and the
Yes.
restless.
Yes, the gala is finally over, so now
Yep.
we'll go into everything else that's been happening.
Yep. Last we left off, last time you and I talked, Diane Jenkins was being hauled away by Chance, who placed her under arrest for the murder of Phyllis.
Yes,
Even
yes.
though, well, I don't know how this all works. It's a TV death scene for sure.
Yeah,
So
it is. And to her shock, it's like I'm being arrested, and Jack and Kyle are, saying what's going on,
right.
and it's just kind of flimsy evidence, but it's enough evidence that Chance is saying nope, you're being hauled away.
Yep. Exactly. So as she's being hauled away, Jack was trying to convince Michael Baldwin, the attorney in Genoa, the high powered
Yeah.
attorney in Genoa
Yes.
City,
Yes.
to represent Diane against the murder charges. And that's kind of gone back and forth now for a week or 10 days, whatever. And Michael did finally, reluctantly, decide to take the case.
Yes, Jack was adamant and just really working Michael to persuade him to represent Diane. And Michael's wife, Lauren, did not want him to do it
Oh,
at all.
I thought
So,
too, Lauren's going to be pissed off. That's going to
yes,
be a mistake
yeah, he still has to go home at night.
at
But
night.
yeah, but he fortunately for Diane, Michael has decided to represent her, and it was an interesting meeting with them in today's episode. He looked a little disheveled.
He looked like he was hung over,
Yeah, I agree with you.
little
And
disheveled hair.
yeah, Diane was a little concerned too, but
Yeah,
they had an interesting meeting as he was playing back the message that Phyllis left him that night of the party. So Diane, she's like, "Wow, I
I
can't
didn't.
believe
Yeah,
that."
yeah. And
Yeah,
then
and
also
then
showed her the letter that was
yes,
found in her bedroom in the Abbott mansion.
yes, and Diane was, I mean, Diane. I would think Michael would say, "Yeah, she looked very innocent in all this," because Diane said, "I've never seen this letter before."
It
And
seemed convincing. Yeah,
yeah, she seemed very convincing, and her last words were, "You find Jeremy Stark, you know, and bring him here to talk to us."
pretty damning evidence, though. I mean,
Yes,
they really
yes,
set her up,
yeah.
planting all that evidence.
And Michael, as her attorney, is kind of throwing this all at her. It's like, hey, it's only going to get worse.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So meanwhile, while all that's going on, so Phyllis, to back up a little bit to the scene with Jeremy. So
Yes.
Phyllis and Jeremy were held up in a motel room, and uh, I put Diane in the thing here, but I meant Phyllis. Phyllis is telling Jeremy she's heading back to Genoa City. She's not going to follow through with this any
Yeah.
further. And
Right.
Jeremy ends up saying, "I'll kill you before I let you go back to
Yeah.
Genoa City."
And she should have known better.
Well,
She
right,
was yeah, she was giving in to, like we had talked the last time that, she was at her own little funeral celebration, and, she realized how much people did care for her, and now she really doesn't want to be gone. And
right,
Jeremy's like, "No, you're not taking me down with you. I'm not going back to prison." So
right.
yes, when he threatened her.
I mean, in a real world, I would think she would just disappear when he's not around or sleeping or something. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
I mean, that was kind of predictable that he's not going to like it. You
I
know?
know, yeah, yeah, and I thought it was interesting too when he was kind of teasing her about, well, we're married now, maybe we can go off somewhere together.
Right.
And Phyllis is like, "Oh no, that won't
No,
be
that's
happening."
not going to happen. So the next part of this scene is, so I thought, well, is he going to kill her? I mean, at that point, I'm thinking, is Jeremy going to kill Phyllis? Well, so he's got a pair of scissors in his hand, and he's kind of walking towards her, and into the bathroom.
Yes.
And then we can't see what's going on, so it goes off camera. And
Right.
so all we hear is a scuffle, and then we got to wait. I don't remember if that was a Friday or not, Luann, but I know we had to wait a while to figure out who the hell it was, who got stabbed or what happened.
I know, because it's like, what's happening back there? And you believe Phyllis is a strong lady, but Jeremy is a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And so when Phyllis comes out with
I know.
his body, it's like, oh my God, that storyline too gave me a surprise. I did not expect that part to happen as quickly as it did.
So first Phyllis comes out of the bathroom, and she's got like a sweatshirt with a hoodie on it, and her face and everything's all full of blood.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm like you. I'm like, wow, And so, like you said, then later that evening, when it gets dark the way it looks, she's got Jeremy's body wrapped up into a sheet, and she pulls him out. And what I love about this is the old soap opera deal, because I mean, like, I don't care if it is dark outside. When you start dragging a body outside, people are going to see that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And even if it's a motor hotel, where
I know
it's the door's open to the outside.
Right.
It's like, to drag a body like that, and it's heavy.
And go unnoticed. And how does she load the body into her car? Or
Exactly. But she made him.
Somehow he disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared. She hid the evidence.
Yep. So yesterday, Chance got a call.
Yes.
Assuming from his dispatch center, saying Jeremy Stark is dead.
I know.
Well, through this process and conversation, we learned that a fisherman must have come across his body and found him. And so now that's starting to get out.
Yes, and and Jack happened to be with him when he got the news in the same room, and so Jack wanted to know what was going on, and that was yesterday's ending, and that was quite surprising too. It was like, I didn't think they'd find the body yet. And,
no, I didn't either. Not this soon.
Right, because there was still a part of me, I thought, well, maybe Jeremy's not really dead. Maybe Phyllis thought she had.
He comes back to life like they do so many times on soaps.
Yes. But this made it very real that he's dead. He's truly indeed dead.
And I don't know if I mentioned this or not when you and I podcasted earlier, but I did read something a while back that Jeremy, the actor, had put out a tweet or somehow put out that his contract was not being renewed with the Young and the Restless. So I figured they were going to write him off, but I didn't know when and how,
Yeah, and Phyllis was kind of, her character, or the person that portrays Phyllis, said that how much she enjoyed working with Jeremy, and she was hoping maybe some way they could bring him back. As a
he was a good
brother.
actor.
He was a good actor.
Yeah, he played that evil role really quite well. I thought
he did. Yeah, and I again was hoping that it would extend a little bit longer. I wanted to see more of a bad side to Jeremy. They showed it, but not as bad as I wanted, to see more of.
He wasn't as bad a guy as you wanted.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I want to see more.
Right.
Right.
All right. So next then, so the way the show ends today on Wednesday, and I kind of thought this was coming just based on the way things were kind of building up.
Right.
But Phyllis shows up at Chancellor Park, and where Summer happens to be grieving outside, and I thought she was going to pass out.
I know. She was just shocked to see her mom.
Yeah.
It's like, and I don't think they spoke any words yet today. I think she just looked and did they?
Right.
They hug. I think they just hugged.
Yeah, you're right.
So hopefully in tomorrow's episode, we'll have more of them talking with each other. The shock, is it really you, Mom? And am I dreaming? That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be the old, am I dreaming?
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Right, right.
So that's kind of where that storyline left off today. So like you said, we'll see where that goes tomorrow.
Right.
So in another storyline, this whole Victoria and Nate thing, I want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So Victoria and Nate, since you and I talked, had another rendezvous on in her office. And it's the scene, Luann, that if I've seen it once, I've seen it 100 times. It's this thing with the desk where they go
clearing it all off.
They just clear everything off, and then they do a rendezvous right on her desk.
Yeah, exactly. And and Audra heard it from the outside.
Yeah, Audra's outside the office or outside their door and hears everything. And I thought,
yeah, she hears.
That's gonna
Yes,
that's gonna come back to haunt you.
Oh, I bet it will, because she'll be talking with Elena about it. And then the next person that happens to come in is Nick. And he does give them a chance. He knocks on the door, and then Nick comes in. And I'm sure he could tell what was going on. And he says to Victoria, you need to fix your hair.
And I think she had a button that was not buttoned or something, too. Yeah, you were talking about Baldwin being disheveled. Those two are disheveled too, for a different reason.
Yeah, yes, they were caught.
Yeah, they were. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about McCall Enterprises.
Yes.
So Tucker's been trying to sell McCall Enterprises for a while now because he's been in financial trouble with the company. He thought he could get this done with, he was hoping with Devon, his son.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I know that's what Ashley was hoping for as well, but that didn't happen. I give Devon credit because Tucker's a shyster. That's going to come back to haunt you.
Yep. And then, Tucker had, offered his help and services to Devon, and I don't know if Devon was real big on that. I think Devon, if he was going to take the company or buy the company, would have wanted to just do it on his own. But he had no interest, especially once the other deal was made. He had no interest in McCall. Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
But then old Victor comes through.
Yeah, so old Victor comes to, and you said this the other day, but Victor comes to the rescue.
Yeah, and Victor made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
And
and Victor, of course, he's got unlimited funds, so he probably overpays. He just says, "What the hell? I'll just write you out a check for it."
Yeah, and I think he even offered him more if that means Tucker will leave Genoa City.
Town. Yeah. He goes, "I'll give you X amount if you leave town."
Right.
So also Jack and Ashley through this whole Diane thing, because Ashley just hates Diane.
Oh, she does.
So Jack and Ashley are on the outs. Jack ends up telling Ashley here recently that she should just move out of the Abbott mansion.
Because if she can't handle him being with Diane, because they're arguing so much.
Yep, she maybe shouldn't live there.
And then she comes back. Yeah, then she
go
comes
ahead.
back. No, she comes back and says, maybe you should move out.
I like Ashley.
Jack. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this next scene surprised me a little bit. So Ashley ends up going to see Tucker McCall. He evidently asked her to come over before he leaves, before that he was leaving town, and she should stop over before he leaves. And he ends up writing her out a check because Ashley had paid off some of his debt earlier.
Right.
And so Tucker ends up writing Ashley a check. And then the next part surprised me because Ashley then says, maybe we should move in together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it because she's pissed off at Jack. So it's kind of like, well, maybe I should just kind of stick this up his, whatever, because.
Right. Because she feels like, well, he's shoving Diane down my throat. I'm going to shove Tucker down his throat because Jack doesn't like Tucker at all either. So
It'd be the best, Luann, and maybe this is an early prediction, but is if Ashley would bring Tucker to the Abbott mansion to live.
Yeah, I know.
They'd all kill each other.
That could be a good prediction. I think that's what she would like to do.
Yeah, maybe that is her plan. Yeah,
give Jack a little of his own medicine.
Medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does this strike you, kind of thing?
Right. Yeah, and then she was sweetening up the deal when she gave him a big kiss, and that's how yesterday's episode ended.
Women.
Yeah, she knows how to persuade him.
I know, that's my point.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. What
yeah.
Tucker replies with.
Yep, agreed. Oh, I think he'll be all over it.
I do too, because he wanted
I do
to
think
marry
he
her.
actually care. I can't decide if he actually cares about Ashley or it is just a total game for him.
I think he really does care about her.
I do too. Mm-hmm. I'm leaning that way.
Mm-hmm. And I think for Ashley, when he especially said, "I'm leaving town, I'm out of here," I think it's kind of like, well, he's better than nothing, so I kind of miss him. I would miss him if he's not here. Mm-hmm.
And he definitely turns on the charm where she's concerned.
Oh, yes, he definitely does. And he pretty much has given up hope with everything because everything has not happened for him.
He's kind of played that role pretty, when he first came on, and I know I told you this earlier when Tucker first came on the show, that I was having a hard time with him as Tucker because I remember the old Tucker, but it's kind of like a lot of those actors and actresses. That it takes you a while to either you warm up to him or you don't. And I've kind of learned to appreciate him as playing that role now.
Yeah, and he's starting to kind of grow on me a little bit. So
Good.
For me too, I thought I'm not ready to see his character leave. But now I don't know, because he doesn't have his business anymore. What will be his next thing that he works on or what he does. We'll see.
I can see him going after Abbott, after the business, Abbott Enterprises, or Jabot Cosmetics. I'm sorry.
Right, because he does have some money now that Victor gave him, so we'll see what he does with it.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. All right, and then the last storyline we have is the love triangle of the Newman boys, Adam,
Yes.
Adam and Nick and Sally. We now know, and last you and I talked, we knew Sally was pregnant, but now we know that. I think we knew that Adam was the father last you and I talked.
Yes.
But now, just the last couple of days, it came out that the gender of the baby is a girl. It's going to be a baby girl.
Yeah, it's a little girl. So Adam seems very happy about that and pleased. He said, I have two boys. Now I'll have a little girl. And, Nick was fine with it. Nick is kind of the third wheel in all this. He wants to be a part of it, but I think Adam is making it so easy, for Sally to include him because Adam's been really responsive and willing to do whatever she wants him to do, whatever it takes to make it work. And, so it's not really like Adam and Nick are fighting about things with it. But this week now, Victor finally found out. And I think he was really a little turned off when he heard that his wife, Nikki, even knew. And she said, well, we just didn't want to share this with you right now. Not yet. And
because they know how Victor's going to react.
Yes. And he did, with the both boys. He's kind of like, okay, I'm not real big on this, but you guys have to figure it out. And I think once he knew that it was a girl, too, he's kind of softened up. He said, well, no matter what, I think about Sally, it's going to be a little Newman grandchild.
He was pretty excited to have another Newman grandchild.
Yes. And, one of my predictions coming up is just that I think at some point along here, I don't know when it will be, I think Sally and Adam might have some alone time. They've had some alone time, but I think that there could be some kissing or making up, because he's been very good to Sally and very caring and considerate to her during all this.
I agree. And I can totally see that. All right, let's do a quick actor spotlight because you and I talked a little bit about this. But
yes,
Eric Braeden, who plays Victor Newman.
Yes.
And I was reading about this story after you informed me about it. He's been diagnosed with and he's receiving treatment for prostate cancer.
Yes, and bladder cancer also.
And bladder.
Yeah, so he's saying, I'm getting wonderful treatment. They took care of this prostate, and he's been going through some treatments for the bladder cancer. And he said, so far I can work, and so hoping that he gets through his treatments well and he heals and feels better, because he's been through a lot this past year with the knee surgery, this prostate now, and bladder cancer. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about
him. I would encourage you and our listeners to go, if you Google, there's a video that he put out where he made the announcement, and he talks a lot about kind of what he's been through over the last few years. And it's, he's such a likable guy when you see him shoot that video, because he really is a common Joe. I mean,
yeah, he is. And he's, what I like about him, he says it the way it is. He's very
he throws a couple
honest,
of swear words in there, here and there, when he does that video and stuff too.
Like you said, he's one of us. He's just
he really is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and then the other one I wanted to talk about was Michael Damian, who plays Danny Romalotti, and who recently made a return for the 50th anniversary. He signed a movie deal with his wife Janine, and they evidently have done 3. I wasn't aware of this. They evidently done 3 like family movies, like Hallmark kind of
Hallmark
movies.
Yes, and I wasn't aware of that either. I knew he had been doing some work outside of for these past many years, but that when they first said he signed an agreement, I thought, oh, maybe he signed something with Young and the Restless, and it was like, no, he signed these contracts.
That's
for some
exactly
other
the way, and that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
When I read it, I thought, oh, maybe he's coming back more full time now. But that's what it was. But he also said that he hopes the schedule works out, because he'd like to do, another short stint or do a stint on the Young and the Restless as well.
Because they keep talking about cricket, Christine, that if, because now she and Paul, their marriage seems to be failing, and he's gone to Portugal. And maybe if something opens up there where all of a sudden she's again single, maybe she and Danny might reconnect, perhaps.
Right. Right. Yep. All right. So, do you have any other predictions?
The Adam and Sally, and
You're saying Adam and Sally.
Yeah, and then I think when Nate and Victoria in today's episode, she invited him to attend her little working vacation, and he said no, and then she said, well, I'm going to be talking with potential companies to purchase, and I think you'd be interested in that. So he said yes. So I have a feeling once they're in Los Angeles, California for this business trip, that things could get real hot for both of them, because now Elena, they don't have to worry about getting caught.
Or do they? You never know. No, I'm with you. I mean, it's so clear to me how Victoria's just got the hots for him.
Yes. Oh, she does.
He's a fool. I don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing, I think, once Phyllis comes out and about with, seeing more people, because she just saw Summer today, but as she starts coming out more to others, I don't know if she's going to be real happy with all the responses that she gets. Everyone will first be relieved that she's, alive, but then they're going to be wondering, like, well, you kind of did the same thing that Diane did, and you've been belittling her and complaining about her, and you've done the same thing, and you did the same thing to your 2 children by making them think that you were dead, and
Right.
So I don't know what's going to happen with Phyllis. Creates her own problems.
I'll make a prediction along those lines.
Okay.
And that is that I'm with you, everything you said about Phyllis. I do think she's going to come up with a really good cover story. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet.
I know. But
I'm also going to say this. She's going to end up paying the price, because she's going to go down for Jeremy Stark's murder.
Because
she's going to prison.
Yeah, because what helped Diane is she was in the jail cell when, because Jeremy was still alive when she went to jail. So there's nothing that, can be thrown against her.
There's no way she could have done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just think Chance is going to end up tying Jeremy's death to Phyllis, and I think she's going to go to prison. Mm-hmm. And and obviously Diane's going to get released.
Right. The only way Phyllis could possibly get out of this, and I don't know how they're going to write the story, is that she says, Jeremy was holding her by against her own will, and made her sign over her papers, her will to him, marry him, and then she tried to escape, and he was trying to kill her, and then she in self-defense. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
But then
that's a good prediction too.
Yeah, but then
that's a really solid.
But then what she should really be doing is going to the police, but she hasn't. So
right.
So we'll see.
But she won't.
No, she won't.
But she won't.
No.
All right. I think I had one other one. Let me think here for a second. So, Victoria and Nate, I'm in agreement with you. They're going to go out to Los Angeles together for this work trip.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elena is going to get suspicious, and she's going to follow him out there.
Okay.
And catch him.
Maybe because Audra might make her aware
in bed in a motel room.
Yeah, Audra might make her aware that they're going on a business trip. Well,
somehow Audra. I agree. Yeah, Audra's going to be caught up in that, and maybe it's Audra and Elena both go out there, or one or both of them go out there, and they're going to get caught.
Yeah. No, you're maybe right.
Ooh, it's sudsy.
Oh, it's very sudsy. I can't wait to see tomorrow's episode.
Yeah. We got tomorrow and Friday. Today was almost like a Friday episode, the way it went.
I know.
It was pretty juicy for a Wednesday.
Yeah, it was. They left us hanging.
All right. Sounds good. Well, that's all we got.
Oh,
we'll see what happens.
We will. And
next time.
I look forward to dishing with you again, Mark.
All right. You too, Lan. And we are out.